I'm Cookie Miller, and this is Worth the Wait. Join me every week as I explore profound weight loss solutions beyond just diet and exercise, because a lifestyle change starts with changing your mind. This week's podcast is sponsored by Cookie Miller Coaching, a holistic online weight loss coaching service that aims to help women who have 30 pounds or more to lose. This program is for the woman who has tried everything and is serious about making a lifestyle change. Visit apply.cookiemiller.com to be added to the wait list, and you'll be notified as soon as a spot becomes available. I'm going to be talking to one of my former clients. Her name is Kaya. This girl is there are just no words. I'm going to let you guys meet her for yourself. But Kaya right now is a graduate student at MIT. Okay. Hold on, Black Girl Magic, first of all. She's also now an endurance athlete who has completed a triathlon. She's also done a century ride in cycling, and she is ACE certified. So she is also a certified personal trainer now. I told y'all it's about to be a little bit crazy. And her hope is just to inspire other women to move. And so let's go ahead and bring Kaya in. Let's see where she is. There she is. Hi. I am so happy to see you. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you anymore.
Oh, no. Can anyone see me? I can see me.
Now I can see you. Okay, great.
Okay, cool. Well, it is so awesome that you're here. Thank you so much. I hope I did you justice with your introduction.
You did. Thank you so much, Cookie.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just wanted to have you on today so that we could talk about your journey, because it's so inspiring. Like, I am so inspired by you. It's almost like you were my coach.
Oh my gosh. No, you inspired me so much. It's the kickstart of my journey. I'm so grateful to you.
Oh my gosh. Well, why don't we tell people a little bit about that? So I met Kaya at the end of 2019. I met her on her birthday because she submitted an application for coaching, and that was the day that I called her back, and she was like, "Girl, it's my birthday." And I was like, "Okay, well, happy birthday. Can you talk later?" And that's how this whole thing started. So why don't you tell me, like, while you're on that call, it's your birthday, you're trying to make this change in your lifestyle. What was going on in your head? How did you feel?
You know, I was kind of hesitant. I had signed up to do the chat with you very last minute, and it was really kind of spur of the moment because I was at a little bit of a breaking point in my fitness journey. I was feeling really lost. I had at that point tried just everything. Years before, I worked with a coach, and it was a bad experience. I feel like I wasted a lot of money. She didn't understand, my specific body type. I didn't really feel like I was getting good guidance. And after that, I just was on my own, trying every different type of diet out there, Whole30, this and that, paleo, everything. I did CrossFit for a little bit, and I was getting injured every 5 minutes.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, and so I was just feeling kind of lost because I felt like I wanted to be active, but I wasn't being consistent. Nothing was really consistent at that point, and I was just really frustrated at that point in my journey.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I didn't know that you tried CrossFit as well, so yeah. That CrossFit, especially when you're first starting out, like, girl, you just went for like the toughest thing ever.
Yeah, it was, it was a gym that was close by me. It was like a CrossFit type of gym, but there were so many people in the classes, so I really couldn't get that much correction on my form. I felt like I was going too hard, too fast, and I was always coming out with injuries. And after a while, I was like, I know this isn't right. Like, I know it doesn't have to be this way.
Right. So where were you, like, when you before you joined, is that where you were, where you had just finished trying to do the CrossFit thing and that failed and all of that? So I'm kind of wanting to figure out where you were then and then where you were once you got to the end of the program.
Yeah, so that was about a year after I stopped doing the kind of CrossFit type gym. And at that point, I was just working out kind of sporadically. I wasn't doing anything really consistent. My diet was just it was okay. I was just doing whatever I could, but I wasn't happy in my body. I wasn't confident. I felt like I was kind of always on this yo-yo, because I actually had gone through a weight loss journey back in 2016. And back in 2016, I think at that point I lost maybe 30 or 40 pounds. And I did that through running and a little bit of strength training. But once I moved, I feel like sometimes when you have like these big stages of your life, it's hard to regain that consistency. So I moved to California in 2017, and it kind of just fell off. I lost my kind of passion for running at that time, and I didn't really know what to do. And so when I found that gym, I was like, maybe this will be it for me. But it just didn't feel good in my body. And so a year after I left that gym, that's where I was at when we had our conversation.
Wow, I didn't know that. So it had been a year since you had tried to do this whole CrossFit thing, and then you were trying to run and kind of just like pulling at different things to figure out like, what the heck should I do? So what happened by the time you got to the end of the program? Where were you then?
It was just such a different mindset change. I think that for me, by the time I got to the end of the program, I felt so confident. I felt like I had a handle and I knew what I could do to continue to make progress and to build a sustainable lifestyle. I think, when we had our first conversation, that's the thing I told you. I'm like, I'm looking for something sustainable, because there were so many, everything I was seeing online is like, 30 days this and 2-week plan here and try this 2-week shred and all this kind of stuff. And and it's all this gimmicky stuff, and none of it is sustainable. You're miserable when you're doing it. And then afterwards you're like, okay, now I got to pick up another, program that's like 2 seconds.
Right.
Exactly. So at the end of the 12 weeks with you, I felt like, wow, I understood better on strength training. You got me on the barbell, which was amazing. I felt like such a boss. I felt like such a boss using the barbell. I started out with just the barbell, no weights on it. Yeah. Right? And then by the end of our 12 weeks, I think I was like 100 pounds on my squats.
Yep.
And so I was so just proud of myself. I felt really strong. I felt like better in control of even my nutrition, because I think the thing I realized is you just gave me so much knowledge about how to build a sustainable lifestyle. It's not about, it can be simple. It doesn't have to be all this complex stuff. It could be simple, and I just felt like, wow, like I finally felt a little bit understood on, especially like as a Black woman working with another Black woman, you understood like my lifestyle, my body type and everything. And it was so inspiring to be able to learn from you and then be able to know that I can confidently do this and continue to do it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much for those kind words. I brag on you all the time, because Kaya was just like, she's the person when you go into a classroom, they sit at the front, they got their pad out there taking notes, and she showed up to every meeting. If she missed the meeting, I'll never forget. She's like, I'm so sorry, Cookie, I had to go to the dentist. I'm like, girl, it's okay. But she was just so eager to learn. And that was what was so admirable, is that I could tell by the way that you wanted to learn that this was something you wanted to do forever. What I didn't know is that you were going to turn into a triathlete.
Me either.
How did that happen, girl? Tell us how that happened.
So how it ended up happening is a little while after we stopped training, I was still doing my strength training, and I got really into cycling. And I was doing cycling, as my cardio when we worked together. Yeah. And I got really into cycling, and I bought a road bike. and I was doing outdoor rides, and I just fell in love with the aspect of being able to ride and explore like nature, and it just felt really just kind of meditative even sometimes, just getting outdoors and just going on the bike. And I just really fell in love with it. And as I got into cycling, I just started, looking online about different things, and ended up coming across triathlon and saw that a lot of cyclists do triathlon. And I had run before, so I was okay, like the running part I think I can do, and I felt like I was getting a good grip on the cycling. It was the swimming part that I was like, oh.
Listen, we're gonna get there, because I need to ask you all the black girl hair questions about the swimming.
Yes, indeed. So I was a little hesitant, but I just remembered that with anything, you can start small and get there. I tried to read different stories of non-traditional triathletes, like people who you wouldn't expect to be a triathlete, who were doing triathlon and had successfully got across the finish line. Like, that's for me. I just wanted to get across the finish line. I'm not trying to be an elite professional triathlete. But, I think for me, because of how I am, I like to work towards things. I like to work towards goals. And so having a race or something to work towards is really helpful for me. It just helps me stay motivated and stay consistent. And so I was like, okay, I want to try this. I want to challenge myself and do a triathlon.
Oh my gosh. When I saw that, y'all, I was just like, wait a second, Kaya's doing what? And I have to backtrack a little bit, because before Kaya told me that she was doing this triathlon, she hit me up like maybe a couple months after we stopped training to let me know she was going for her CPT. And I'm like, and CPT is certified personal trainer, by the way. And I'm like, oh, this girl is like, she is serious. And Kaya became my very first client ever to become a certified personal trainer. And I am just still blown away by it. That is insane. So she did that, and then she did the triathlon. So tell us about that experience. Like, I know you did kind of a recap of it, but was the swimming the toughest part? Like, what was the hardest part of your training?
Yeah, I think the swimming was by far the hardest for me, because I had never swam like athletically before. I gone to the beach and like gone to the pool as a kid, but I never really like swam laps or anything. And so it was kind of like I felt like I was learning from scratch how to swim well. And so that was really difficult. But I think there's sometimes like a beauty to learning something as an adult and being able to kind of conquer it. So even though it was really challenging, and there was a lot of times where I would get into the pool like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, this is like really hard. What am I even doing? And just having those moments of doubt. I was so proud of myself. Like, even so, the swimming in the actual race, I was probably most proud of finishing that section. And I was dead last out the water. But
doesn't matter, girl.
It doesn't matter. I was just so happy to get out of the water and know that I swam a mile, like in the open water, which is like amazing. I would have never, if somebody would have told me, a year ago, 2 years ago, that I could do that, I wouldn't have believed them.
Yeah, I mean, that it's incredible. I realize now when you said swimming a mile, why don't you tell everyone what the triathlon encompasses so they kind of know what you went through?
So the Olympic distance I did, it's a mile swim, and then after that, it's a 25-mile bike ride. And then after that, it's a 6.2-mile run.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry, girl. I was ready to pass out. Okay. Oh, my gosh. That is insane to be able to do something like that and go from just how long was that period from where you first started to the triathlon? What is that, like a year and a half, maybe?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, like a year and a half.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I want to switch gears a little bit, because earlier what really prompted this was I saw on your story that you posted about how your experience had inspired some of your family members, and you posted a picture with them, and that hit me right in the feels, because it is so beautiful to see Black people being inspired and doing things like this, because a lot of us are really plagued with this generational curse within our family of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease.
Yes.
And that, of course, is at the core of what I do. Everybody likes to buy in for the aesthetic part, but it's more so about your health long term.
100%. 100%.
So how does it feel to be that person in your family that's like, girl, you're breaking the generational curse? That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's such an incredible feeling, because I think I was never an athlete growing up. There's not really, nobody in my family has done a triathlon or races or anything like that. And so work out is really, really
hopefully you guys can
meaningful.
still, okay.
And to know. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it's okay now. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I think for me, just knowing what you said, like about the health part, I don't expect my family members to like now become triathletes, right? But I want them to know that if I was able to do this, like I wasn't someone who ever thought I could do a triathlon, but if I was able to do this, they can like get up and go for a walk or just be active. And even I had a conversation with my grandma, and she was like, oh, maybe I want to learn how to swim or something, and like, I think that it's a beautiful thing to inspire each other in our communities and in our families, and lift each other up and support each other and being healthy. I think what you said is so important. It's not about the aesthetic and necessarily just how you look. It's how you feel inside and your health. And that's what matters, like number one, because so many people will judge folks on how they look on the outside, but not know what their own health journey is. They can be healthy, they can be active. And one thing that I love when we work together is like you focus on finding things that you actually enjoy doing, because that's what's sustainable. If you tell someone to try to do something they hate, they're not going to do it. They're not going to keep doing it. So even with my family, it's like, okay, what do you guys love to do that will get you outside, will get you active? Not everybody's going to be in the gym, and that's okay. It's just finding things that can keep you motivated and healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad that you mentioned that about like not having to be in the gym, because in these current times that we're in, not everyone has gone back to the gym, and we don't even know what's happening now to where, gyms may be shut down again. So it's really about finding something that you can do on your own, like you said, that you really love, that you really enjoy, that you're going to remain consistent with. So that was just a really great point. So last question I have, Kaya, what would you tell somebody who is considering to make this lifestyle change and they're facing some of the fears that you had in the beginning?
I would tell them that if you're feeling doubtful, fearful of whether or not you'll be able to, to do it, to keep it up, remember that to be graceful and to yourself and be kind to yourself, and remember that it's a journey. It's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon, right? That's the saying, and that it's a lifelong journey. I think that's the thing to remember, that this is a lifelong journey. So don't try to just rush into anything, or it may not happen immediately. I think that's the number one thing I would tell them. Like, it's not going to happen in a week. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. I remember when we worked together, right? You told me, listen, it may take 4 weeks for you to see some changes.
Yeah.
And so being able to accept that and just be grateful to yourself and say, okay, well, it's not going to be an immediate change, but if I keep at this, things can change. And so just working to build that consistency in small ways, I think, and doing it bit by bit, not trying to do everything at once, right? You can't do everything at once and think that you're going to be able to stick to it. So be kind to yourself, realize that it's not going to be an immediate change, and stay consistent.
Yeah. That's the hardest part to get people to understand. So I'm just like, you feel a little bit hopeless, especially when you're focusing, like I said earlier, on just like Black women in general, like what I'm working on. How do you get a Black girl to get in the water? Like,
You know, like how was that experience and everything? Because I know a lot of people will use different things as their excuses.
Yeah.
And you didn't use that as an excuse. And you're a natural hair girl, just like me, and just like a lot of us, probably some of us who are on the live right now. So how did you get past that whole like the hair thing, girl?
Well, the hair thing I think is the number one thing, especially when it comes to swimming, but even working out in general, right? A lot of people use that excuse. Oh, well, I just got my hair done. I don't want to sweat it out and this and that. And like, oh, I don't want to have to be doing my hair all the time. But the reality is, listen, if you want to have the change in your life, you're going to have to make some sacrifices and your hair will be fine. Like one thing I learned with swimming is like, you gonna have to wash your hair more often. That's just the reality. You're gonna have to wash your hair more often, and there are ways to protect yourself from your hair from the chlorine. You get a good swim cap, and you wet your hair before you go in the pool, and that keeps it from being damaged. So your hair is not automatically going to be damaged just because you're swimming, right? We have Simone Manuel. She is an Olympic swimmer, Black woman, right? She's incredible. Yes. She's out here doing it, and her hair is beautiful. So it's not about, your hair is going to be ruined. Your hair will be fine, I think. And the same thing when working out, right? It's just about taking care of your hair, being willing to put in that time, wearing things that will protect your edges, protect your hair and stuff when you're working out. And yeah, you might have to spend a little bit more time taking care of your hair, washing it and making sure it's clean and everything when you're swimming or working out. But that's just a sacrifice I think you have to be willing to make.
Yeah, listen, my Black queens out there, do not let your hair stop you. I'm telling you, y'all see me, my hair is constantly changing, okay? So even seeing my hair in its natural state is a rare form, and I work out all the time. Listen, y'all, if you like wigs, get a workout wig. I'm not being funny. Go to the beauty supply and get a workout wig. Like, there are ways that you can work around it. I keep my hair protected most times. Throw on that workout wig if I need to. Braids are excellent.
Braids are excellent. Oh, man.
And if we're talking about hair health, which I don't know how we got over here, but if we're talking about hair health, then, making sure that you're just keeping your scalp clean and moisturizing and all of those things is going to keep your hair healthy. And listen, we have to be healthy in our bodies. Like, it's really, the hair is just not a priority, y'all.
Exactly.
It is just not. Like, we have to get over it. I love this comment that just came through. It says, we become slaves to our hair and limit ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's so true. So many times, as Black women, we're like, I can't do this because my hair is not done, or, I'm not doing that because of my hair. We gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. I had my own experience with swimming. It was not by choice like you. It was by force.
Oh.
And this happened in the very beginning of my journey, or in the middle of my journey. I had lost about 40 pounds. And I was doing it with a lot of high impact stuff.
Ooh.
Being over 200 pounds, almost 250 pounds, doing high impact stuff, the injury was going to happen.
Yeah.
And about 30 pounds in, it happened. And my doctor was like, you can swim, like older white guy. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no running, no elliptical, no bike, no. And I'm like, what?
So what can you do?
So what can I do? So then he goes, you can swim. And I'm like, this guy's out of his mind. Like, he doesn't understand how my hair, my time works. And at that time I was working in corporate. I had to be at work at 7 a.m., y'all.
Ooh.
I used to get up at 4 a.m. I was so dedicated, Kaya. I was so dedicated. Like, I wanted to see that weight gone. So I would get up at 4 a.m., go to the 24-hour fitness, and I'd be in there with the triathletes.
Yes.
And they'd be trying to convince me. They didn't get me though, girl. I was like, because I was in there with the little board, kicking my feet, trying to do the exercises that the doctor gave me. But I was doing that every single morning, like Monday through Friday, because it was the only thing I could do. And what I found was that swimming is a great exercise. Like,
it's so great. It's a full body workout. You don't realize it. It's a full body workout, but it's so low impact. So you can't get injured from swimming, and you feel good. Like, it's not a high impact thing. That's one thing I love about it. Like, you can really just go for it and not worry about like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like so sore and everything. It's so low impact. It's really great. I think we got it. There's some great, organizations like Black Swimming Association that are trying to get, more Black people swimming, learning how to swim in the pool, because it's really a great sport. And I think a lot of us would love it if we gave it a try. But we're always usually so hesitant, and we learn later in life,
Yeah. And I heard that there's a Black-owned swim cap. Sadly, I heard about it in the news because of some negative things related to the Olympics. And I don't know whatever happened with that, but I know that there's a Black-owned swim cap that's supposed to be large enough for you to fit your natural hair in comfortably. Is that something that you used, or did you use like a traditional?
I've used both. I've used more traditional, and I used the Black-owned brand. I think their name is like Soul Cap. I can't remember. I think that's, I think that's the name. And they had like, especially if I would have like braids or something, I would always have to use that one because a regular one can't, fit braids and stuff. And so it's great for that. And so there are a lot, I think, more. One of the beauties I think right now that's happening is there's a lot of Black-owned businesses and brands that are coming out to make sure that like we can do the things that we want to do, because a lot of other brands and companies are just not thinking about us, right? And so I love seeing that.
Yeah, me too. And I love seeing you representing for Black women in tech. That is so big. And I know that's not what this conversation is about, but I'm all about highlighting Black women. So maybe you can give us a little inspo and kind of let us know what the heck is going on at MIT, because girl, in case you're just coming in, Kaya is a graduate student at MIT, which is just amazing. So how are things going?
Yeah, things are going great. I started in June, so I'm in a program called Leaders for Global Operations, and so I'm getting a master's in business and a master's in engineering. So it's a 2-year program, a double master's program. It's very intense, but it's great. I'm learning a lot, and the people are incredible.
Well, you guys can see that Kaya does not choose easy things to do.
No.
She's like, most of my clients are kind of like, hey, Cookie, I was thinking about doing a 5K. Kaya's like, I'm going to do a triathlon and I'm going to go double major at MIT. Like, what?
Yeah, oh my goodness. My grandmother was just saying that to me when I was explaining to her about the triathlon, and when I was telling her about my century ride. She was like, she's like, you always want to go for it. Like, somebody says, oh, I'm going to go on a bike ride, 10 miles. And Kai's like, no, I'm going to go 100 miles.
Exactly. I'm like, I cannot keep up, but I just enjoy watching you thrive. It's been beautiful to see your journey. I'm telling you, you are inspiring me with every single thing that you do. I'm just so happy to see you out there doing what you love. So I love to know what's next. What's next for Kaya? Any more races? Another triathlon, or are you done?
No, I'm not done. Oh, I am. I'm doing another one in December. So
Y'all, I'm sorry. My reaction, like, I can't help it. I'm so shocked. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm doing another one in December. I think I've caught the bug. A lot of people say once you get across the finish line for the first time, you're hooked. And I think that's me. I think for me, having stuff to work towards, and I really do enjoy the 3 sports, and I'm still doing my strength training. So I think I'll continue to do triathlon.
Oh my gosh. So another triathlon in December.
Yes.
So does that mean you take a break? Like, do you have a little break and then you start training again?
Yeah, I'm in a break period right now. I'm pretty much taking a break now, and then I'll start like slowly ramping it up and then doing like a taper and stuff before the race. But now that I did the first one, now I learned, okay, I know like what I need to think about for the second one. So I'm excited to go into it with now more experience.
Gotcha. Okay, well, listen, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I just thought of one question that I think would be great. Yeah. Because you're so busy, you have so much going on, right? And now you're training for this triathlon to do it again because you're crazy, and that's okay. But how do you fit that into your schedule? Like, how does that, what does it look like?
Yeah. I think with anything, I love that question because I think people try to use that excuse all the time, like, oh, I'm too busy, I can't like work out, I can't do this, I'm too busy. And no one is too busy. Like, this past summer semester, I like had like 8 classes. My schedule was insane. It was ridiculous. And I still was able to train for my triathlon, right? And it was very difficult, but sometimes you gotta wake up earlier, right? And so that's what I did. I would wake up earlier, right? And then do the workouts. And then sometimes, after, in the evening, you might have to skip out on that dinner or going to the bar or hanging out with the friends every night or whatever. And you might have to just go to the gym or get it in. And so just realize that there will be some sacrifices you have to make, but also working out doesn't have to be, you're not working out for 2-3 hours. Like, you can work out for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. It doesn't have to be super long, and you can just get it in if you are willing to dedicate the time to it. Like you said, you woke up at 4 a.m., right?
Yeah.
To dedicate that time. And so for me, I just know it's a priority. And I tell that to people in my life too. And that's the thing. You have to have people in your life who are willing to support your journey. So I tell people like, hey, listen, I'm training for the triathlon, so I can't attend things at this time, or like I have my training, and so I hope you understand. If they don't understand, well, maybe they're not supposed to be, in my life. And so if you're working out and people are like, oh girl, why are you going to the gym? You just need to go out with us and stuff. No, like it doesn't sound like those people are supporting your journey.
Right.
And so you got to be willing to like make that sacrifice and have people in your life who are supporting you in doing that.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on that because I do get that response a lot about how people are just really, not, it almost seems like people are like, well, this person isn't supporting me or that person is supporting me. But sometimes we're not even speaking up to say what we need in relationships or in friendships. So you have to actually be okay to vocalize to your friends like, hey, this is really important to me right now. And I really need your support. So you have to give people the opportunity to support you before you're just like, they don't care. Like
100%. Yes.
So I think we've learned a heck of a lot on this tonight, girl. And you are just, like I said, you have just been inspiring me since day one. You are absolutely so incredible. You are the epitome of Black girl magic. You are out there representing us so well. And I just wish you the best of luck at your next triathlon and all the new ventures that you do. Is there anything you want to share with us about what you're doing, or some way that we can support you or follow you or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say just follow on Ride with Kaya here on Instagram and follow the journey. And I'm always willing, if you have any inkling of maybe I want to do a triathlon, please DM me. I would love to try.
Y'all DM Kaya for triathlon training, not me. That is not my ministry.
Yeah, and that's the best place to kind of reach me and follow along in the journey.
Okay, awesome. Well, y'all make sure you guys follow Ride with Kaya here on Instagram. She is Black girl magic, all in this beautiful little face. So I am so glad and so proud of you. And thank you so much for joining. I see y'all are laughing at me. Listen, it's not my ministry, okay? But it's Kaya's ministry. So if that's what you need, hit her up. But thank you so much again, Kaya. And I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, Cookie.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank you guys for coming.
Okay, good night.
Bye.